Okay, so we have learned how to write equations from various situations. We've been given graphs, tables, and situations. Those were the most straightforward. We learned how to write a linear equation if they gave us a point and the slope. That involved a little more work. And today they're going to give us 2 points. As you might expect, this is going to take the most work to get what we need. So let's review, take a second, and write down what are the two pieces of information we need to write an equation in slope-intercept form. As always, we need the slope of the line and we need the y-intercept of the line. Sometimes both of these things have been given to us. We've looked at a graph or a table or a situation, and there's the slope and there's the y-intercept. The second thing we learned, they gave us the slope, but we had to find the y-intercept. And today, with 2 points, we're going to have to do it all. We're going to have to find the slope, we're going to have to find the y-intercept, we're going to have to write the equation of the line. Okay, so here are the steps that we've been using all these steps. It's just sometimes we have more to do than others. I'm going to talk through them as you write them down. So the first thing we need to do is we need to find the slope. Sometimes the slope is given to us. Today it will not be. So we will either need to use a mini table or the slope formula. Use whatever you get correct most often. Some of us struggle with the slope formula a little bit, and you're going to find the slope. Then we're going to go back to what we did in the previous lesson. We're going to use that slope that we just found, and we're going to pick 1 point. We're going to have a choice today. They're going to give us multiple points. We get to choose one. We're going to plug it in, substitute in to y equals mx plus b. We're going to solve for the y-intercept. We're going to solve for b. And then finally, once we have m, once we have b, we're going to write the general equation for the line as y equals mx plus b. So get all these steps written down, and then you're ready to go on to the examples. Okay, so let's see what that looks like if they give us 2 points. All right, so the first thing I need to do, step one, was find the slope. They didn't give me a slope here. If you want to use the slope formula, you can. I'm going to show everything with a mini table. Just make sure that you get the correct answer if you use the slope formula. So I'm going to write 3, 6 in here, and I'm going to write 0, -3 here, right? So to get from 6 to -3, I'm going to go down 9. And to get from 3 to 0, I'm going to go down 3. So my change in y over change in x is going to be -9 over -3, which is a +3, right? So m is 3, okay? Now I need to find the y-intercept. So you get to pick either point. You pick either point you want, and you plug it into y equals mx plus b to solve for b. So I'm going to pick this point here. This is x, this is y, and I know my slope is 3, so y equals 3x plus b. My y value is 6. 3 times my x value is 3. Plus b. Now I'm just going to do the little bit of equation work it takes here to solve. I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides, and I get b is -3. Okay, now look up here a second. I noticed something. Isn't that point right there? 0, -3. Isn't that on the y-axis? They actually gave me the y-intercept here. So if I had noticed that ahead of time, I could have said, hey, b is -3. I don't have to solve anything. But in case we didn't notice it, solving for it should always work. All right, so I have m, I have b. So now I'm going to say y equals 3x minus 3. That's my equation. Okay, so here's a table, and sometimes tables are nice because they give us the y-intercept in the table, but I don't see any x values of 0, so I can't cheat, okay? So I need the slope. Remember, I only have to use 2 points to find the slope. So I see these two positive, both coordinates positive points in here. I'm going to use those to find my slope. So step one, to find the slope of this line, From 4 to 7, I add 3. From 1 to 4, I add 3. So my change in y over my change in x is going to be 3 over 3, which is 1. So my slope is 1, right? So now I'm going to pick any point. I have 4 points to choose from here. I can choose any of them. I'm going to choose 1, 4. They're both positive. It's the smallest values, maybe a little easier to deal with. And I'm going to plug that into y equals 1x plus b. Okay, now we're going to talk about that 1 in a minute. We don't have to write that there. So my y value is 4. So I'm going to plug in 4 equals 1 times my x value of that point is 1. And I'm going to solve. So 4 equals 1 plus b. I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides, and b is 3. So I have m, I have b. So my equation is y equals 1x, but we don't have to write that x. So I'm just going to say x plus 3. The 1 is there, but we don't have to write it. So if we were to see this like on a standardized test or something that we weren't writing, it would be written as y equals x plus 3. Okay, so now it's your turn to try. Here are 2 points. So your first step, remember, is to find the slope. So you take these 2 points and you find the slope of the line. Okay, so I got the slope was negative 1/3. Check your work, see if you need to make any corrections. So after we find the slope, the next step is to find the y-intercept, to find b. Notice this is not the y-intercept here. There is a 0, but the y value is 0. This would be the x-intercept. So you're going to have to use your equation and solve for b. So pick either point you like, plug it into y equals mx plus b, and solve for b. All right, so I chose the first point just because it has the 0 in it. I plugged it into y equals mx plus b, and I got b is negative 1. So now we have m, now we have b. The next thing you need to do is write the equation of the line. We've done all the hard work. That's the easy part. Y equals negative 1/3 x minus 1. All right, so we're going to do the same thing here with the table. The first thing I want you to do, I want you to find the slope given this table. I just chose these bottom 2 points here because they both had positive values, and that's sometimes easier for me to deal with. But regardless of which 2 points you chose, you should get a positive 2 for your slope. Okay, so now you have the slope. Pick any of the points you like and solve for the y-intercept. Solve for b. I chose the point at the bottom just because it had the smallest positive values. My y value was 1, my x value was 4, and if I did it correctly, I got b was negative 7. So m is 2, b is negative 7. I have run out of room, so I'm going to come up here. You write the equation of the line. And given what we got for m and b, the equation of the line is y equals 2x minus 7. Okay, so what does this look like if it is a real world situation, if it's a context problem? So we have here at the fair, 2 rides cost $7.50 and it costs $12 for 5 rides. So remember, we have to have 2 points. So take a second and give me the ordered pairs of the 2 points that they have given us. So your 2 points are 2 and 750 and 5 and 12. The cost depends on how many rides you've taken, right? So the cost, the total cost is dependent variable, that is y, and the number of rides is independent, that's 2. So The 12.5, notice it's written backwards. You got to pay attention. The rides is the independent variable. The total cost would be the dependent variable. Okay, so the next thing we need is the rate of change. Remember, this is the slope. We're solving for m. You find the rate of change between these 2 points. Okay, so I got M was $1.50. Now, we typically don't write slope as a decimal, but this is a cost per ride, right? It costs $1.50 per ride. So it's okay here to leave this as a decimal because of the situation. So now we have M. Now we have 2 points. I want you to choose one of those points. And the next thing it says, how much did it cost to get into the fair before riding any rides? So here we're looking for what? We're looking for the initial value. So use the slope and one of the points and find B. Okay, so I chose the point 512 because there were no decimals in that point. My x value is 5, my y value is 12. I've plugged it in with my slope and I got B was 4.50. So the cost of just getting into the fair, the initial value was $4.50. Okay, so now I have M, now I have B. What is the equation for your total cost to attend the fair based on one, just getting in, and then how many rides you ride? So I get y equals 1.50x plus 4.50. What this means is it's $1.50 per ride. That's my rate of change. Plus I had to pay $4.50 to get in. Now let's take it one step farther. It says how much will it cost to attend the fair and ride 10 rides? So what's it going to cost me if I go to the fair and ride 10 rides? Well, what did they give me here? They gave me the independent variable, right? 2 rides, 5 rides, 10 rides. So they told me that X is 10. So plug in 10 for X and tell me how much it costs to ride 10 rides if you go to the fair. Okay, so when I plugged in X is 10, $1.50 times 10 is $15 plus 450. I get $19.50. That's how much it's going to cost me to go and ride 10 rides. Notice I don't put units over here when I'm working out the problem because that just makes it messier. But when I answer the question, I do put units. Okay, now you know how to write equations of lines with pretty much anything they can give you. You can write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form.